Are you longing for a simpler life? Has life become just too noisy and busy and cluttered? And if the truth would be known, you're looking for just a simpler time, kind of like being at Grandma's house and Grandpa's house. Well, if that's you, today I want to just share with you some thoughts on how to live a low-maintenance, simple life. It was a few years ago that I actually went on a missions trip to Belize, and one of the things that amazed me about the people I encountered is that they lived such simple lives. And when I got back to the States, I asked the question, how can I live a simpler life here in America? Now, let me define what a low-maintenance life is for me. A low-maintenance life for me is when we focus on the essentials. It's when we don't let the non-essentials crowd out the essentials. And today I want to just share with you some things that I've learned about how to live a low-maintenance, simple Christian life. So I used to get frazzled packing for trips, and the reason for it is because I thought, well, what if I forget something? What if I, get all the way over there and I forgot my medication or I forgot my passport? And it used to just cause me a lot of anxiety. But then I came up with this idea of creating a checklist on my phone that I labeled Pack for a Trip. And then now, whenever I leave for a trip, I just take out that little checklist and I use it one by one, and it's taken so much stress off of me. And what I've learned from that is just a simple checklist can really make a difference when it comes to relieving anxiety in your mind. So think about some things that you get anxious about, and what is a simple checklist you could create to overcome that. So years ago I was visiting my barber, and he was celebrating his 50th wedding anniversary that day. So I'm like, wow, that's quite an achievement. And I asked him the question, what is the secret to 50 years of marriage? And you won't believe what he said. Now think about what you would say. Good listening, forgiveness, commitment. So he was celebrating 50 years of marriage, and I said, what's the secret? And he said, staying out of debt. And what I learned from that is the importance of living within your means, the importance of staying out of debt as much as you can. And I just want to encourage you to think about a low-maintenance, simple life is one in which you live within your means. So I used to go to the closet and be overwhelmed with all my clothes choices. And it's like, what do I wear today? And do I wear this? Do I wear that? But then I had the idea, what if I just simplify my wardrobe? And what I do is I basically wear polo shirts like what I'm wearing right now and khaki type pants. And I just got about 4 or 5 of those, and I just choose one of them every day. And it's helped me to not have choice fatigue as much. And is there an area in your life where it really is you have too much, and it's like we have all these options, and sometimes it just leads to choice fatigue? So in this area of your life, I think it's important to remember less is more. So this past weekend, my wife and I went to this zoo, and at the zoo we saw all these amazing animals, but one animal stood out to me the most, and it was this baby monkey. And as I watched this baby monkey, the thing that I was struck with is it's like its sole goal was to stay close to mom. Wherever mom went, the monkey was right there. And I was thinking about that. What if you and I, our sole goal was to stay close to Jesus, right? Talk about simplifying your life. You imagine getting up in the morning and you're like, how do I stay close to Jesus today? The Bible says, but seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. How can you make it a goal to stay close to Jesus? So when we got ready to go on the trip this weekend, obviously we had luggage, and here's what we did not do. We did not just take the luggage and haphazardly throw it in the car. No, what we did is we strategically put it in the car. We need to put this luggage piece here, this luggage piece there, then we can get the most luggage in the car. And think about your schedule, and how do you pack it? Do you just haphazardly put stuff in your calendar? Someone called it EWAMP. Evaluate what's on my plate. And what I want to encourage you to do, a low maintenance, simple life is a life where you strategically pack your calendar and ask the question, does this activity align with my core values? Is what I'm going to do, does that align with my core values? So I remember hearing about this prayer, and the prayer is basically, for every one request you have of God, you have to then say 2 things you're grateful for. So let's say I say, Lord, give me strength for today, and thank you for my family. Thank you for my health. And I think what this prayer teaches us is the importance of contentment. One of the prayers I've been praying a lot lately is, Lord, help me to see the abundance I already have. And there's something about contentment. And someone said contentment is being content with the content of your life. And taking time to just appreciate God. If you're not in the habit, I would encourage you to daily make gratitude lists and just say, Lord, thank you. I appreciate all the abundance you've given me. So on my desk at work is this old rotary phone. Do you remember rotary phones? When I was a kid, we lived on a farm, and we actually had party lines. I don't know if you remember those, but that's where you would share a line with your neighbors, and we had this neighbor who would constantly listen in on our calls. And the reason we knew that is because we didn't have cows, and we'd be talking on the phone and we could hear cows. And we're like, hey neighbor. But on my desk is a rotary phone, and when I go into my office, the first thing I do is I dial my childhood phone number. And what that does is it just kind of reminds me of a simpler time. It just kind of reminds me to simplify my life and have a low maintenance life. And I think the lesson is what is something that you could do in your environment to remind you of a simpler time? What is just something that you can put in your environment? Maybe it's a rotary phone. Maybe it's a picture of grandma. Whatever it is, what is something you could put in your environment to remind you to have a simpler, low-maintenance life? Well, hey, here's what I want to just encourage you to do is pick one thing we've talked about today and implement it. Maybe it's saying, hey, my sole goal is to stay close to Jesus like that baby monkey. Maybe it's just getting a rotary phone or whatever to remind you to simplify your life. And it is my prayer that God will help you live a low-maintenance, simple life so that you can keep the main things, that you do not allow the immediate to crowd out the ultimate. May God bless you, and may you love God and love your neighbor as yourself.